Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Firewood at the Furnace, and my name is Brad. Standing here next to this big pile of ash rounds that we've got cut up so far. It's a little bit more than where we ended last week's video. I've been coming over here and working on this pile a couple hours in the evenings whenever I have a chance. Really, like I told you before, trying to get aggressive on this pile and get this knocked out. So we're going to do some cutting today. I'll spin you around here in a minute and show you what's going on with the pile. How much progress I've made there, and tell you about some of the weather that's been going on and why the cutting situation today, it might be a little different than you think, so stick around. So we got a really nice pile of ash rounds here, and it's definitely going to be a lot of splitting that we have to do coming up here soon, but like I told you before, my goal was to get this pile that's been sitting here for a good while now of ash logs that are all dry. Most of it's barkless, and what's not barkless, the bark peels right off. My goal is to get that done because that's wood that'll be able to be sold this year. So as far as the weather goes, you can see here that we've had a lot of rain. We had some thunderstorms go through last night, and actually some tornado warnings. So the yard is very, very muddy, and I kind of teased you in the intro there that the cutting might be a little different than you would expect, and that's because of this mud. I'm not going to get the skid loader out to pick these logs up to cut today, just because obviously the yard's going to get tore up, but when it's muddy you just make a bad situation worse. But anyway, enough of me babbling. Let me show you the pile. That's what's left. I did have a couple sticks of poplar mixed in there. You know, I'm not a big fan of poplar, but I will mix it in with my campfire bundles. It's a good wood to get your fire going, get it started. It dries quickly, so I don't mind mixing a little bit of poplar in there, but I try not to get a whole lot of it. But this is all that's left of the big pile that was laying here. What I've been doing is taking the skid loader and pulling logs down individually, cutting a few up. I pull them down, get them next to where I'm stacking the rounds, get them bucked up, and then stack them. And then when I get those logs bucked up, then I'll come back over with the grapple and pick a couple more logs out of the pile and do it again. But I'm going to be cutting on the ground today, bucking on the ground. I know it's not ideal, but like I said earlier, I'm not getting the skid loader out in this muddy mess. It's like swampy walking down through here. You can see where I've already slipped a couple times here in the mud. So it won't take long to dry out. This week's supposed to be beautiful. So I'll just give it a couple days to dry out, and then whatever we have left to do, we'll take care of. So let's get the saws out. Let's get it warmed up, and I'm going to tell you about the Hypa chain again. I'll just tell you right now, the Hypa chain I sharpened on my own with the 2-in-1 sharpener and ran it this week, and while it started out pretty good, it did not keep an edge very long. About a half a tank through, the very first tank of fuel, about halfway through, I could already tell it was slowing down. So I've got the Oregon chain on the 261 today. I've got the 360 here as well. So those are the saws that we'll be running, and we'll see what we can knock out here. So I made pretty quick work of those few logs that I had pulled out before the rain came last night. Like I said, it's mostly ash. I did come across one more poplar log here. You can always tell poplar by how easy it cuts. Even though they say it's a hardwood, it's pretty soft for a hardwood. And when you first cut it, it's got that green center in the middle. A couple days, that green color goes away and it turns brown, but when you first cut it, it's definitely got that green center. The rest of it's all ash. I do see one more oak log right here that I think I'm going to get to here in just a minute. But there's not a whole lot left here. I'm going to try to see how far I can get along this today. I don't know if I'll get it all done before I have to go and watch Brady play some baseball, but I'm going to give it a shot here and get a few more logs done. I got to save some time here to roll all these rounds over to the pile and get them stacked. But let me talk to you a little bit real quick about this load of logs that I purchased. So if you just joined the channel, or if you haven't followed along when these logs came in, I'll put a link to that video on the top of your screen here if you want to watch it when these logs were delivered. But this was the first and only load of logs that I ever purchased. Now, when I decided to buy this load, I was just getting started in my relationship with the tree service, and I didn't have a whole lot of wood in the yard. I was pretty much keeping up with everything that I got. I was keeping up with it. So winter was coming. I figured his business was going to slow down through the winter. So I went ahead and ordered this load of logs, which is supposedly 5 to 6 cords of wood. Right after these logs got delivered, the tree service company got super busy, and I was getting wood, and all this wood started coming to the yard. And basically, for almost a year, this wood has sat here while I tried to keep up with the tree service wood that I was bringing in and clogging up my entrance here. So I finally decided to tackle this pile, really get aggressive with it, and get this bucked up and get it split, stacked, and sold. Now, they said there was 5 or 6 cords of wood here, but this came from the company that delivered these logs was a tree service also. So while there's quite a few nice poles in this load, there is also quite a few logs that are gnarly, crotches, a couple pieces that were a little punky that I found. And so I have gotten rid of a couple of logs out of this load. I put them on the dump trailer over there. You see there's a load on that now, if you can see it in the background. But that'll be getting out of here. So I'm hoping that I end up with about 4 cord out of this load, and I don't believe I'll be purchasing any more wood from that company again, based on my relationship with the tree service. So that's kind of the deal with buying logs. Now, if you're buying logs from a logger and you're getting nice, good sized diameter straight poles, that's a whole nother ball game. But this load in particular, from the company that I bought it from, just based on my situation and the relationship with the tree service, once this load's done, there won't be any more purchase loads coming into the yard. All right, enough break time. Let's get back to cutting. All right, that's going to do it for the cutting today. I got about an hour left to work in the yard here, and I'm going to save that time for the job of rolling, carrying, and stacking all these rounds over here next to this pile. The reason I do that is because when it comes time to split, I like to have everything centrally located. I can set the splitter up and just, you know, not have to move, not have to walk around or climb over anything to gather rounds to split. Everything's already ready to go and staged. So I take a little bit of extra time now to save a little bit of extra time later. Well, not too bad for just a couple hours worth of work. I wasn't planning on even coming over today to do anything because, like I told you earlier, my son has a ball tournament today. He's got some games this evening rather than the morning, so I had a few hours, and I said, you know what? Let me get up and just go over and just cut a couple logs, make a little bit of progress, and you can see how much you can get done in just a couple of hours. So it was well worth the effort to make the time to get over here. We made some more progress. We're clearing this load of ash out. The pile of rounds is starting to get overwhelming. So once we start splitting, we're going to be able to go on that for a good while. But that great big pile that was in the way with the weeds and the grass growing up through it will soon be done. Don't forget that this Friday is your first Friday's video. It is the first Friday of June already. And so be looking for that video. Thank you all for joining me today. I know it's getting into nice weather. Spring and summertime is here. So not everybody is spending as much time on YouTube in front of the television or whatever. So for those of you who continue to watch the videos and send me comments, I certainly appreciate that. Until Friday, when I see you next time, have a great day. Take care.